And we are live. Hey everyone, how it's going? Right now we're also going to stream on Instagram. How exciting. Let's see how does this go. It's the first time that I'm going to do this. All right. So it works. It's alive. Amazing. So we're going to wait just a few moments until we officially are going to start. In the meantime, I'm going to fix my hair. I definitely wanted to both color and also arrange just a bit my hair before this session. However, I said, you know what, let's prepare a bit more rather than just arrange your hair. Okay, so we're going to wait a few moments before we're officially going to start. This is the Amazon PPC AMA session. Scale session, this is how I'm calling it. It is a live streaming session. Right now we are streaming both on LinkedIn, YouTube, and even on Instagram. It is the first time we are streaming on Instagram, so this is very, very exciting. Before we're going to go deeper into the session, apparently I also have to keep here Instagram open so you guys can see. Hey Noemi, what's up already? People are messaging me. Love it. Doing fine, doing fine. Just recording a quick Amazon PPC session, AMA session, with everyone joining. So it's super, super exciting. I'm super glad to see you here. So basically, let me walk you through today's session. We have these sessions. It's called Amazon PPC AMA session. Basically, you are just going to submit all your Amazon PPC related questions and I am going to do my best to answer them. I also received in the meantime some DMs regards Amazon PPC questions. So whenever in the chat I'm not seeing an active question, I'm going to answer those questions so you guys know the feedback on that. And then these sessions are going to be recorded for 1 full hour. So during that full hour, feel free to ask as many questions as you have regards Amazon PPC. Usually those are the ones that I am prioritizing. However, when it comes down to hiring, firing, systems, processes, training, all those are questions that are more than welcome. Even productivity hacks. The last time someone asked me about my latest productivity hack, happy to share it also with you guys if you're interested about that. It is having my AirPods on, even when I am not listening to anything, because it's going to isolate all the sound. That helps me tremendously focus and do things as fast as possible, as efficient as possible. I have, besides that, also literally in Google, I'm just typing timer, the first timer that I believe it's a native Google timer. I have it on. I set it for 25 minutes. And whenever the 25 minutes are up, I'm like, okay, how far am I getting right now with this? Whatever process I am in. Either I'm strategizing, either I am just getting things done. Those two things tremendously help me with how I'm managing, especially Discord through my life. All right. Okay, so Galactic Media said, please check your DM, send you something interesting. I'm going to check it right away after this session. Right now, I'm just afraid, honestly, because it's the first time that I'm doing Instagram that is going to take my attention. And I'm like, I'm trying to focus on answering this. Definitely, I'm going to check out my DMs on Instagram. All right, perfect. So let's get started. I'm Noemi, co-founder of ScaleWave. My team and I are helping brands that are selling on Amazon. We're helping them with Amazon PPC advertising. Basically, if your brand is selling on Amazon, we are your go-to person to help you scale your current efforts when it comes down to revenue. And today's session is just one of those sessions. To be frank with you, so many people are asking me about Amazon PPC related questions. So today's session is strictly dedicated with focus on Amazon PPC. If you have Amazon PPC questions, just feel free to post them here in the chat section. More than happy to answer them. And in the meantime, I'm also going to answer all the questions that were submitted via DMs, comments, messages previously to this live stream. So I'm going to answer the very first question. What is the easiest way to see exactly which search terms actually generated my sales in sponsored product campaigns? All right, great question. So first off, what you are going to do, if you're already running sponsored product ad campaigns, and if you're generating impressions, clicks, orders, sales, that it means that you already generated data called search term reports. So that is the first go-to that you would download from the measurements tab. So you're logging into your ad console, you're going to your measurements tab, and then you're going to download these so-called search term reports. Now, dependent on how long already you're running those campaigns, ideally we would run campaigns at least 7 days if we have meaningful data. By meaningful data, what I mean, at least you have 2 to 3 sales, you have already a few clicks there, so you know clearly, okay, which are the main search terms that generated data for you. So based on that, you would gather the data and understand better what are the keywords. And here, hear me out. When I'm saying keywords, is what can happen is that you're targeting keywords that are going to trigger search terms. So which are the keywords that are working for you, and then which are the search terms that are being generated by those keywords. So that is the way how it would be easiest for you to see which are the search terms actually generated your sales in sponsored products. All right, Jeremy asking, will you marry me? For 15 years, I'm already married, but appreciate your question. Anything Amazon PPC related, more than happy to answer. All right, so the next question. If you had to walk a beginner through Amazon PPC step by step, what could be the process, or what would the process look like from start to finish? If I would have to teach a beginner through Amazon PPC step by step, first off, I would advise you to look up any source that already is available to you and then find that. In my case, because I am recording even these sessions, so these are strictly Amazon PPC sessions, and I am prioritizing the beginner questions just because I was a beginner 5 years ago when I started Amazon ads, and I had all your questions. So the way how even these sessions are structured is to answer first the beginner questions. So that would be my go-to. Just go to Noemi Bolojan YouTube channel, find these AMA sessions. They are all in a one long format. And also what we are doing on our end, we're cutting them up by question. So if you have one specific question, so you don't have to go through a full course, that is my go-to. Second thing, it's still going to be my Amazon PPC my YouTube channel that talks a lot about Amazon PPC tutorials. And again, it's focused towards beginners. So all the questions that you might have, from how to strategize, how to understand what ad types to create, how to have a framework when it comes down to Amazon ads, all those are already something that I wish I had 5 years back when I started first my journey on Amazon ads. So I would highly recommend my channel. What else I would recommend is allow yourself to not look up too many people at the same time and learn from everyone. And here, this is very, very different from what I was doing 5 years ago when I was like, I have to learn about Amazon PPC because I'm running ads for my own campaigns and own products. What I learned during this process is that what I do want you to avoid as a beginner is you don't know what to focus on right now. So find the 1-2 people max that you're going to focus, go through all their content, see what is relevant to whatever you're looking for. And then once that you've done that and your answers were still not and your questions were still not answers, then I would look to a new source. Reason for that is because you don't know yet what to prioritize, because everything seems to be the shiny object that you have not tried, because there's just so much time and so much money on this earth, So that's why I'm recommending you first try 1-2 sources, learn from them, assimilate them, see what actually works for your account, what it doesn't, and only then go forward. This was more in-depth answer, hope you don't mind, but those are the biggest things or takeaways that I had during my journey on learning Amazon ads, because I was just literally like a sponge learning from everyone. But what I noticed is that I did not learn how to learn strategically until 2 years ago, when I was like, okay, what is a framework, based on all these places that I learned Amazon ads from. All right, next questions. Let's see. What Amazon PPC tools? All right, so the next question is, what Amazon PPC tools do you think are actually worth using, and what problems do they solve? Great. Most important tools for you, I would say learn the tools that you have most content on. And this ties really nicely on the same topic that I was just talking about being a beginner and facing those shiny objects. The tool right now that is most content on is Helium 10. Now I have a love-hate relationship when it comes down to Helium 10 because as a tool, they are great, for the past, I don't know, 6 years, 7 years, something like that, since I knew about Helium 10. They always improve, they always learn, and they always, whenever you had a request, you were submitting the request, they were implementing it within their software. When it comes on the how they act as a business, people usually don't really like that, right? So I would say in the same time, they have most content. So are you looking into you want to follow someone who's like morally and ethically and whatsoever they're correct on whatever you think, or are you going to go for the tool that actually works really well, that has also revenue, it's backed by revenue, so I would highly suggest Helium 10. Start with that, learn that tool, learn the ins and outs of that tool for whatever your needs are. Now the second part of the question is what problems do they solve? I would highly advise you first learn the basics, learn the fundamentals. So when it comes down to if you're going to run your own Amazon PPC ads, you would need to understand what are the keywords that are going to work well for your products, or what are the products that you should be targeting. So in that case, there's a tool called Cerebro within Helium 10 that you would just learn how to use it and learn that one tool, learn the ins and outs, and then understand, okay, how am I going to use Cerebro to look up my competitors, to look up my own products listing, to see, okay, which are the keywords that I am ranking highly for and I should be advertising more for. So those would be the first steps, right? Second, P&L, so profit and loss. I believe Helium 10 also has a native P&L. Correct me if this is not the case right now, because we are not using it internally for that purpose, so this is why I'm saying it. But Helium 10 would be my go-to when it comes down to lots of keywords research and analysis. Now, the second tool that is very affordable is Sellerboard. Sellerboard, mainly why we are using it is to keep internal P&L on a daily basis on how are we doing when it comes down to daily, weekly, monthly, even quarterly, and then we can see performance. We're also using it for inventory, tracking, and forecasting. You can use it for, like, if you're going to give it a try, you have a free trial, give it a try and see how could that be useful for you. That is the way how we're using it. We're also using the notification sections. Honestly, Sellerboard is one of the more cheaper tools on the market that I think that's the first thing that I would download right away, because it's going to give you a wholesome view of whatever is going on within the account. And then 3, we have also DataDive. DataDive is Brandon Young, the creator of DataDive. He is super, super smart, and he put together this DataDive tool. Now, that is something that I would advise you to use only once that you're familiar with even Helium 10 and with keyword research and so on. DataDive also has lots of content out, and it's similar to Helium 10, I would say. It's way more analytical. And I personally, while I know that it's way more helpful sometimes than with Helium 10, I'm not a huge fan of the interface, to be honest with you, right? So if I don't like the UI experience. I'm like, I have to talk myself into how do I'm going to use the term. Again, this is personal preference, but those 3 would be my go-to tools whenever someone would ask me about tools. Okay. Question in the chat, how can we set PPC campaigns for newly launched products? Brilliant, love the question. Also in the submitted questions, there's something super similar to yours. I'm going to answer this one. So how can we set PPC campaign for newly launched products? It's really important, first off, you understand your product, what the product is, what problem it solves, and then who are your competition. So once that you understand those 3 main points, then you can go down the rabbit hole. Okay, so now that I understand that, how much inventory am I going to need, how much advertising budget should I be allocating to it, and what is realistic when it comes down to what my product looks like on Amazon when it comes down to any conversion item. By conversion item, I'm talking about creatives. So your main image, the rest of your images, then your A+ content, then the brand story, all those aspects that are going to help with conversion. So how do I compare those against my competitors? The next item is going to be, okay, how many reviews do I have? Because that is also really important. And what type of rating do I have? Is it a positive? Is it a negative? Is it under 4? Is it over 4? It is 10, it is 100, it is 1,000. So as you can see right now, you asked me a PPC question and I gave you no answer regards PPC at all. And there's a reasoning behind that. It's because what you're asking me is like, how do I launch a product? PPC campaigns for this product. But if you don't understand the whole sum of the product, you are going to miss out on which are your opportunities when it comes down to, so this is my product, I'm just launching, I probably have 0 reviews, or if I have reviews, maybe a few wine reviews, which like 30 reviews, 50 reviews, something like that. Now that you have that, how do you compare against whatever keywords you are using within campaign and whoever you're targeting when it comes down to their product detail page? So I hope that you're with me so far. First off, look at your product. Which are your competitive advantages against your competition? And from there, start to strategize. Because why I'm saying this too is, I could give you here it is, the exact step-by-step process on how you're going to do that. And you're going to be probably successful. But the thing is that you're not going to learn to think. You're not going to learn to strategize. You're going to be, I'm lost now because I don't know the second, the third, and the fourth steps, So first off, take your product, look up your top 5 to 10 competitors, see what they have and you don't, see what you have and they don't, and try to see then the keywords which are highly relevant to your product, that are totally describing your product, the way how you would look that up. Go in incognito, write your main keyword and see which is the keyword that's most relevant to my product, right? And what that is going to show you is all the products that are already advertising for that specific keyword. Where do they show up? What is their pricing? What is their competitive advantage against yours? And then from there you can strategize. So I would really advise you to, besides just launching the first campaigns, understand the product. Once you got that, brilliant. Now you're going to create a strategy. And strategies can be, I created a full-length video about the strategies that we're running here at ScaleWave. We have 5 main strategies. First, it is rank protect. And just a second, apparently people are looking for me when they should not. Okay, volume off. So the first strategy, it is called protect. Here you're going to add everything that is your brand name and your own ASINs. The second one is going to be conquer. This is the opposite of protect. You are going to go for products that are your competitors, where you have a competitive advantage against. Just like the first step, how I teach you on look up what are your competitive advantages and use those against these competitors. Either you have better reviews, either you have more reviews, either your product has nicer images, resonate more with your ideal audience. You have 5 images and they have 1 image. So everything where you would have an advantage. And really important, you would not go for big brands. You're not right now not taking up market share aggressively. This type of campaigns should be helping you get revenue cheaper, right? So you had the protect strategy, now you have the conquer strategy. The third strategy is called rank. Most people are talking about ranking strategies as of your go-to always. Ranking strategies, what basically means is that in an exact match, which can be both keyword targeting or product targeting, you are going to target that specific match in exact match. And then the fourth one is going to be dominate. Now this strategy is whenever you see that you already generated at least 3, 5, 10 orders where you see that you are always dominating, right? Then you would look up what is the placement that I'm always going to get sales and affordable sales. And that is the placement. And here, this is going to be more of a placement modifier strategy. So you're going to assure that no matter what, you're going to showcase your product first whenever someone would type that specific search term. And the fifth strategy is called discover. Discover is anything that is not exact. So discover, it can be auto campaigns, broad match, phrase match, category targeting, broad modified, which is you would add a plus sign in front of each word. So now, as you can see, there's like a big, like a hole of, okay, what to do with PPC and how would I launch my products. What I would advise you to just zoom out and, in summary, learn what your product is, see what your competitive advantage it is, and based on that, create these campaigns based on the 5 strategies that I advised you. And of course, look at your budget. If you have realistically a $1,000 budget per month, that is around $300 per day investment. So out of those $30, sorry, I said 300, I meant 30. So you have $30 per day investment, which means that out of this $30, you would maybe creating 1 to 3 campaigns, depending on how costly your CPC is. Try a strategy, see which one works best. If you have a $3,000, you have $100 per day investment, right? So you have more leeway on how many campaigns would you create. That is also really important. Let me know if that answered your question. What should a brand do? Launch? Okay, so the next question in the chat is, what should a brand do if they launch on Amazon but aren't getting sales? Love the question. Allow me to tie this into another question that also was submitted. And actually, I'm going to read out this question as is. I think it's good as is. So what should a brand do if they launch on Amazon but aren't getting sales? You would analyze what is going on the account. Why are you not getting sales? What goes wrong? And you would look again at not Amazon PPC metrics. You would look into the listing. Is your listing eligible to advertise? That's the first check. If it is, great. If it's not, that's the first thing that you would fix. Second, is your listing eligible to advertise? Yes, but you're still not getting clicks, impressions, sales, nothing. It might be that you lost buy box. And if you're losing your buy box, you're not getting any sales at all. What else can you do if you have already confirmed that both it is eligible to run ads for it? And then the second thing is going to be, you have also the buy box. The third is going to be, is this a new product launch, or is this a product that has been there for 2-3 months or 2-3 years even, and you already have history that previously it performed, but now it's not performing? So that is the next thing that you would look into. And here you have the data clearly, and you know if this is a new product, if it's a product that already has been launching. And then you would look into, okay, so what is not causing me to get sales? Is it because I'm going to target something that is irrelevant to my product? So am I going for keywords that are not 100% relevant for my product? That might be one of the issues. The next thing, I check mark, I am running the account with keywords that are highly relevant for my product. Again, go in incognito, check on each keyword and see for those keywords who are coming up as competitors. Because it can be that you have $100 retail price product, right? Maybe you even have a coupon there of 20% off. So technically you set up the product well. But if you are using a keyword that it is targeted by products that sold for $10, $20, even $80, you will have way less conversion than they had. What you are going to have probably is clicks, but no sales. So as you can see, it's a way more troubleshooting mindset rather than what to do. The first things is going to be, okay, is technically everything set up? And if it is technically everything set up, then you would look on the, okay, is it on the PPC side, right? If you find that it's on the PPC side, great, you solved it. The third lever, or the third, let's say the third lever, is going to be your creatives. The images that you currently have are those really competitive enough against your competitors? And here, right now, we just onboarded a brand a week ago or something like that, and they were making really good sales beforehand, but what we noticed is that they were producing lots of sales based on branded keywords. Now, if someone is going to search with a branded keyword your product, there's a highly likelihood that they are going to convert and buy your product. But what is going to happen that if we want to gain market share, additional market share, there's just as much search term, as much search intent as it is for the one keyword, right? That is describing your brand. But if you want to go and get market share for other keywords as well, you would have to bid for that one. And for that, maybe you don't have a competitive advantage. Maybe you have the 5 creatives, but even the 5, the main image is really nice and the rest of the images, but competitively, your competitors are doing better. They are talking to their exact target audience with their creatives, or even with the way how they are describing the product, the way how they're showcasing the picture and so on. So that's why I'm saying that first off, technically, ensure the technical setup is there. The second thing is going to be, is it a PPC issue? Third thing is going to be, is it a conversion issue, right? And then the fourth thing and last thing that most people are not thinking of, it has to do with inventory and with shipping. I'm putting these two categories in one because it's easier to understand, but inventory and shipping, if it's an FBA versus an FBM offer, people are going to prefer FBA offers. Multiple reasons why. Also, if you have a Prime membership, FBA is going to be your go-to always. So that's why I'm saying if all the competitors have FBM offers, your offer is also an FBM, that's a different ball game, because you are going to be compared against their listing. So you're on an equal terms. But if they're FBA and you're FBM, you're lower, right? So you're going to be perceived as a lower value, even if your product stands out. And then on the inventory side, what we're seeing on our end is that whenever inventory is low, and by low, I mean only a handful of items, under 50 items, it really depends on how many units or what is your sales velocity during on a monthly basis. But what we're seeing on our end, anything that is under 50 units, because whenever you're sending your product to Amazon, they're not going to be in the one warehouse, but they are splitting it in different warehouses. So what can happen is that based on that, because it's going to be only in a few warehouses, low inventory is going to affect that, your PPC strategy and your PPC outcome as well. Let me know if that answered your question. Alrighty, we are 28 minutes in. I'm loving it so far. Thanks so much for all these amazing questions. Love to answer them. 5 years ago, I was the one who was asking all these questions, so I just really enjoy answering all these questions. What does a typical day look like when you're working as an Amazon PPC specialist? Love the question. So each day looks differently. However, we do have a way of ensuring that even if each day looks differently, we are going to work on different parts of the business. Giving you an example, there are certain things that are always going to come up when it comes down to Amazon PPC management and Amazon and ads management in general. One is going to be checking if ads are still live, if the account is still there, if, God forbid, the system is still on. So it's going to be a daily check-in, right? So that is something that we would do daily, on a daily basis for logging into all the accounts that we're managing, ensuring that there are no notifications from Amazon that are worrisome or something that we should be allocating more attention to. And then we are going to assure that during that process also there are no listings that had been suspended, or we still have the buy box. A few questions ago, someone asked about possible issues why we cannot advertise. So we're checking on the day-to-day to ensure that everything is set up correctly. Now, the next part is going to be when it comes down to Amazon PPC ads. Are the ads still running? And if yes, it's great. But if they are not running as expected, and by as expected, if we have certain spikes, if we have certain drops, if we have certain, I don't know, there's no spends at all, what is causing that. So we would look into it. But if nothing like that is happening, the next thing is going to be we are just taking note that everything is in order, because that also helps us to see. Let's say yesterday something happened on an account, today everything is, or let's say today everything is in order, tomorrow something is happening, and then the next day we would be checking out and like it's fine. It gives us accountability. It gives also purpose and transparency when it comes down on the client and when it comes down to reporting. So those would be one of the smallest things that we would do that are crucial and vital for the account. Check on the account health and take notes. You would take these notes every day. Every day, at the same time, we are going to add information in our daily history logs. The second thing that we're going to do, and this is more on a monthly basis and bi-weekly, we're going to create a strategy for the account, and based on the strategy, we're going to see how close and how far we are on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis from that strategy. And by strategy, what I mean, example, we have a scale with our go-to is we're going to increase the revenue of the account by at least 5 to 10% month over month. That means is that whoever we are taking on as our brands that we manage, like our clients, they already know that because they are expecting us to grow their account, to grow their revenue, not only to maintain whatever is there. And we are seeing eye to eye to that. Okay, great. So that is one of our strategies that we're going to assure that new campaigns are going to be created within the week, right? That we are going to increase, decrease bids, create adjust placement modifier if it's needed, create within those 5 frame step strategies that I just shared in my last answer to the question. If these are implemented, then it's great. So that is on the strategical side. And third thing is going to be reporting. Now, really important, you should be able to report no matter what. If a client or brand is asking you what is going on with my account, you should be able to answer right away. And this is how reporting helps us. And this is where the day-to-day check-in and then the weekly reporting on how did we perform for the previous week is going to come in handy, because then we have an accountability metric to ourselves first off and to our clients to show them this is how far, this is how close we are from the goal, or we already exceeded the goal. Are we going to increase even more sales? Are we going to go even further? They can say yes, and then you're saying, okay, great, this is how much inventory we would need, because it's not a digital product, so this is how much inventory we would need in order to achieve that. So already we talked about the day-to-day, which is admin side, management side. We talked about the optimization side and the new campaign creation side. We talked about the strategy side. What else are we doing? Client communication is one of those things that no one is talking about yet. Most of the time, it can take most of the time because clients might be asking lots of questions. It really depends on the brand owner, who they are as a person, and who we are reporting to. But communication, it's one of those things that we are going to give updates all the time, what is going on in the account, even if there's no update, even if it's still in progress, even if it's like it's closed, even if it's like they should know all those things, because then you're coming to them, letting them know, hey, this is what's going on, this is how we acted, everything is full, it's solved, and then they're okay. So I can trust you that next time whenever something comes up that is similar, wherever I am needing proactive action, you are going to achieve that. This is how the brand owner thinks, right? Whew. Those are the first thing that I can think of right now that really it's involving in the day-to-day PPC specialisting. Okay, before I'm closing this topic, this is really important and most people are not doing it. Learning. So we do have learning and then takeaway on how we teach further whatever we learned. And that is going to be a training and an SOP day. So the training is going to be every day. It's going to be a dedicated time whenever we're going to learn either a new strategy, either we're going to learn, I don't know, either a new strategy, either we're going to invest time in sharing what we know and make it into a system. And this is by the SOP creation. Basically, what we're going to do is our way of doing XYZ topic, how we are doing it inside of ScaleWave. We are going to write it down step by step. So this is going to be very helpful for whenever we are going to hire a new teammate. This is the way how we are doing it. This is our system. You're going to follow this. This is what good looks like, right? So that is really, really important. I do believe that most agencies who are operating as PPC specialists or so on, they don't have this really figured out. Let me know if that answered your question. All right. What PPC tools? We already answered that question. When should you pause an Amazon PPC campaign, and what's the right way to do it without hurting performance later? You would want to zoom out and understand why in the first place you created that campaign, what was the strategy behind it, and if that strategy is still applicable. Giving you an example, right before jumping on this call, this live session, I was just strategizing for one of the brands that we managed, and I was looking into, inventory level. And what I noticed is that on our end, what we did do correctly is ensure that we checked out any old inventory that is there. We created new campaigns for those products. And now looking back for the last 30 days, we did not check up more often on those products. So those products sold, but they did not sold with the purpose that we wanted to. So the strategy there, it was not applied. And this is not because of neglect, but it was because we had so many things on our plate that we deprioritized it. Now that we know that, and we know that a new month is coming, it's still not highly urgent, but is priority number 2 or 3 right now for us, for this account is, okay, so this month, what we're going to do, we're going to ensure that we are going to keep a close eye on those products, because if we want to move inventory with advertising, we have to make sure that those campaigns are performing as expected. So that is one of the things that we would not pause the campaign, but we would add additional budget. And the reason why I answer you that way is because you're asking about pausing. Pausing has to do with, is it still relevant to the strategy that you have? Because then you should not pause it. Second thing, the strategy that you have also means that you are going to spend, $100 to find out if those keywords, if that campaign, if those targetings are working for you or not. And based on that, you're going to decide if I'm going to continue with what I'm doing, am I going to achieve my goal or not? So that is when we would consider pausing things. And then very, very important here, what I would suggest before pausing any campaign, open up the campaign. And if this is you who created the campaign, or if this is someone else who created the campaign, as like, for example, internally in ScaleWave, there are multiple people who are creating campaign, but it's still based on the same strategy. But I would advise you open up the campaign and see what is inside. What can happen is that a campaign might have 100% ACOS, but once that you're opening up the campaign, you're going to notice, hey, actually I made 5 sales at 20% ACOS, which is profitable for me. But the rest of the keywords, either they generated clicks, did not convert it, or they just simply did not got any impressions. And then what you're going to notice is that, hey, this campaign actually works for me. I just should be pausing everything that does not work as expected. And then whatever did not work as expected, as I was saying, things that you did not got even impressions, even if the products are relevant to whatever you want to, like within your strategy, then what you would do, you're just pausing those, creating a new campaigns only with those. Either targets, either products, whatever the strategy is behind the account. So that is how I would go about, hey, is this relevant? Is this old but still relevant? Is this something that I forgot about and I should be taking care of right now? Or is this something that 2 months ago it was a priority, now it's not? We are spending money on something that we should not. Then it's going to be clearly a pause. Or hey, this campaign, if I'm opening up the campaign, the components of the campaign are showing me that parts of it work, other parts don't, then you would pause whatever does not. And if the whole thing doesn't work, if you have the one keyword and you have 100 clicks and it's an exact match keyword, that also is telling you that for that specific keyword, you're not converting. So then also we would first lower the bids, and when we see that there's really no conversion, we would pause. Okay, 20 more minutes to go. Okay, another question, important one. And thank you so much, guys, for submitting your questions in Instagram. What I'm noticing, it's not going to bring the questions on my main monitor. So sorry for not answering those right away. I see that there is a question. How important is analytics in PPC? It's basically everything. So if you don't use whatever data you paid for, it means that you are just lighting money on fire. So Amazon PPC analytics is super, super important for you to understand, first off, what to do next, second, what not to do, third, what you double down on. Next question, how do Amazon PPC bulk files actually work and when it's worth using them instead of normal interface? Amazing. So we are using internally Amazon PPC bulk files, and just so you have context on what bulk files are, the nicest and easiest way to put it, it's going to be a 2D version of whatever 3D version is in the ad console. So whenever you're logging into the ad console and see all the data and all the details and all the sales, all the orders, all the everything, the bulk file is going to be just an Excel type of sheet or CSV type of sheet that is going to showcase you exactly what you're seeing in 3D, but in 2D. The way how we are using bulk files and why do they work, we are using bulk files very, very often and for most things. We are using it for account audits. We are using it for account optimization. We are using it to rename campaigns. We are using it to adjust strategies, bidding strategies. We are using it to increase placement modifiers, if I did not say that. So we are using it for add negatives. We're using it very, very often when it comes down to bulk files. What I would highly suggest is, I believe I created a video about bulk files. If not, just look up the first video. It's going to come up. Elizabeth Green from Jungler is a friend of mine. They're also helping brands on Amazon. They're helping like bigger brands on Amazon, like 8-figure. They're still between 6 and 7 figures. She has a really good video about how to use bulk files. I would highly suggest that one. So you have a grasp on how to use bulk files. But yes, bulk files is something that we are using on, I would say, at least 3 times per week when we're going to optimize our bids and check for the overall strategy if we're moving in the right direction. How do you know when a keyword should be moved to another campaign and what's the right way to do it? So how do you know? You would know when you got the positive result that you're expecting, that the keyword works well for you. And here, when would you move it in a different campaign would be if it is not in an exact match. Probably that's when you would move it in a different campaign to have it in an exact match. Because if in non-exact match works for you, by non-exact I mean maybe it's in an auto campaign, in a broad match, in a phrase match campaign, broad modified campaign, category targeting campaign, or a product expanded match campaign. So if it came up and it generates at least 5 sales, 5 sales per month, that is our minimum usually, then we would be creating its own campaign in exact match. Now, really important, because there's so much information about this that is wrong information. And by wrong information, I mean, we tried it, it does not work. I'm just here to tell you, this disclaimer, you can do it on your own, see the results, but I would not advise it. This is after spending 5 million in ad spend, so just feedback there. What you should never do is pause that keyword within the original campaign that generated the sale. A reason for that is that you expect that you have the most control possible right now, that you created your exact match campaign, which, yes, you have the most control possible. But what you don't have performance history, you don't have everything what went well for that keyword in that campaign. So if you want to duplicate the same success, I'm totally fine with moving it into its own campaign, dedicating its own budget, but never pause the keyword in the campaign that you added into. Let me know if that helped. What's different about running Amazon PPC for clothing products, especially with variations and seasonality? Oof, clothing items. Those are lots of SKUs, lots of SKUs. What is different about running Amazon PPC for clothing products? What we've seen on our end, because we had brands who had clothing items, they had merged though, but they still had clothing items and they had lots of different variations. What is different is that you're going to structure it differently. Giving you an example, if you have the one product in the, I don't know, what would be the one product? Right now I don't have anything to grab from my desk, which is very untypical to me. But let's say that you have a one product that you're going to sell. Let's say that you're going to sell, nothing comes to mind that it's not a variation. Okay, you're selling the one product, and then you're also selling clothing item, which is different sizes, different colors, maybe different textures. Maybe you have a variety of winter clothing, summer clothing, spring clothing, fall clothing. So you have a ton of variations. What is going to be different between these two strategies is that for the first product, that is already the product itself, you know already that, okay, I'm going to create the one campaign, I'm adding the one product. When it comes down to different clothing items, especially whenever you're launching for those products, new campaigns, you don't know what's going to work. So then the strategy is going to be for the one product that you are launching, that is the product itself without variations. You're going to create the one campaign with the 10 keywords maybe, and then create that campaign. For the variations item, you're going to add all the variations, and you're going to scan and see how do people react whenever I'm showcasing my products and which are their preferences. Because based on that, what you're going to decide, okay, they like the black color in M. That's the one that's selling most, right? And then what you can do next is maybe you can create a new campaign where you're going to target only that product and then increase revenue on that product alone, right? So that's why I'm saying that strategy is going to be, the first one is going to be a very like sniper approach, because that's the one product. The second strategy, whenever it's clothing item or different variations, multiple SKUs item, you're throwing everything unless you have clear data on what works already. And then you are going to see, okay, this is a wide net, whatever works, and then you're going to double down on whatever works. Let me know if that answered the question. You also asked about, especially with variations and seasonality, is the exact same thing. The way I'm seeing seasonality, I'm seeing it very similar to, because we're helping brands with consumable items. The way I'm seeing seasonality is as if it's a product that is a consumable item that is about to expire, and it's, this inventory that you have to move. We would strategize the same way also for products that are, just a small season, like maybe for 3 months, it's going to be there. So again, let me know if that helped. Scrolling down. Scrolling down still. We talked about bulk files. What should sellers expect when working with an Amazon PPC marketing agency, and how do you know if it's a good one? So this is a topic that is very near to my heart, and I created a full-length 22 21 minutes video about exactly what to look for. Please go and find it on YouTube. It's called, under my YouTube channel, Noemi Bolojan, what to do before hiring the correct PPC agency. But basically, so I am going to still answer your question without just throwing you a 20 minutes video. Look at the traits that you're looking for someone to have, and don't look at this is a PPC agency. Look at, if I would hire this person tomorrow, which are the things, the characteristics that I want them to know, and do they have them? And based on that, it's going to be clear for you if you're looking for accountability. Hey, what is their communication? Do they provide weekly report, monthly report? What is their strategy? Do they have weekly calls, monthly calls? They don't. Okay, if they don't, but do they still communicate the way how I'm expecting them to? They do. Okay, that's great, because they might not have the weekly and monthly calls with you, but they are always communicating at least in 24 hours. They are replying to your messages. They are very detailed. They are going to provide reports. They're going to provide everything what you would need. And it's no problem that you don't have the weekly or monthly meetings. So that's why I'm saying, look at which are the things that are really important for you. Second thing, are you looking for a strategist or a follower? And by strategist and follower, I mean, are you looking for someone to take decision for you and do actions on your behalf? See whenever it's something profitable, it's something that you should be worth investing, or are they looking for your guidance? Are they asking you what to do next? And the reason why I'm saying this to you is because most of the time, what I think that is one of the most or biggest complaints that I'm hearing brands selling, especially selling. No, you know what? These are brands that are not only selling on Amazon, but in general from the agency space world, marketing agency. There's a lot of complaint on they are hoping for a strategist, someone who's going to grow their account, and they are hiring a follower, someone who is going to check, okay, that was it, and then they are going to throw strategy, inventory, and everything else that is, it should be theirs to take care of on the client. Or what is going to happen is that the client is going to choose someone who's super cheap, and it's like, yes, we're managing everything and doing everything, and it's like, yeah, it's not going to work because they're not doing all those things. Or the third thing, and this is tricky because I myself fell into this trap of, I thought that if someone is performance-based, they're going to perform better just because they're going to be motivated, because whenever I am making money, they are going to make money. It doesn't work that way. So what I noticed is, even if they say they are performance-based, do ensure that, hey, they know your category that you're selling in, they already had success in whatever you're doing, and that they are literally communicating with you, sharing all the updates, showing how they are really in it, as if they are part of your own team, versus, okay, whatever, I'm just taking you as client, you maybe pay me $200, $300, $1,000, and then, in 2-3 months, whenever you're not seeing the results, it's okay, So that's why I'm saying that it's really important to sit down, and whatever are the traits that you are looking for that are most important for you, write them down and see if the agency, if the marketer, if the whoever you would hire this out to, if they have it or not. 7 minutes in. What are some simple underrated? So this is the next question. What are some simple underrated Amazon PPC tips that most sellers overlook? Pausing the stuff that you created for the account that clearly did not work, but you never took a second look at it. That is one of the most overlooked things when it comes down to Amazon PPC tip that no one is interested about because they want to hear the latest hack. All right, so always checking up on, is whatever I'm running in my campaigns still relevant to the strategy that I have? If it is, great. If it's not, pause it. Second thing that most sellers overlook, it has to do with data, and here data for a lengthier time than whatever your Amazon Ads Console is going to show you. So what we would do on a monthly and even quarterly basis, we would look into For the longest time frame that Amazon allows us to take a look at for the last 65 days, what are the things that did not work for us, but we did not know that just because it got a few clicks here, there, over there, maybe last week, maybe, just super scattered, and there's scattered data, and then based on the scattered data you are not going to take the right action. So what we're doing, we're just going to sum up everything for at least the last 65 days and see, all right, which are the common patterns that are showing that otherwise we would have not seen them, and we cannot address them just because it's not in front of us on a daily basis. So those are some of the things that I would highly advise you to do, and they are very, very underrated as Amazon PPC tips. But the third tip, I do want to provide the third tip because it's really important, and also I'm seeing this very often in especially new and super advanced brands, implementing always the latest thing, the shiniest objects, and thinking that those are going to be the fix for something that is broken from a systems point of view. Assure that whenever you're going to implement a strategy, a decision, what's next in this quarter for your brand, always to ensure that that is going to help you at least by 10% increase the revenue of your account, of your brand, of the potential that is going to be out there. Why I'm saying this is most of the time, especially beginners, but again, even advanced brands, they are going to be very attractive of these shiny things that are going to take over your attention, focus, time, your team's time, your money. And really important, it's going to take away from the opportunity that you could have had if you would have not allocated time to it. So this is something that I would advise you to do. Always just step back and zoom out. It's a word that I love to use. Zoom out for clarity. Zoom out and see, with this new strategy, is it going to help my business grow at least 10%? Is it going to make me better 10%? If it's a training thing, is it really going to help my employees get better at least by 10%? Because if it's the 1%, 2%, it's going to still take as much time as it would something that it's 10% increase, but you're not going to see that. So this is why, like, the third thing, and this is really the most important thing now that I'm analyzing even more, is look at if it's going to improve at least by 10%. And again, this is Amazon PPC related and also team related. Then you should be going for it. 3 more minutes. Let's see. Last question. Last question is, what are the most effective ways to bring ACOS down without slowing sales? You would first ensure that whenever you're going to bring down your ACOS, so we have a clarity on that, that is advertising cost of sales. And what you are going to do is you're going to optimize, not drastically, but bit by bit. That is the most important thing, because once that you're going to do that, you're going to see, so let's say my ACOS right now, it's 100%, my target ACOS, it's 50%. If I'm going to bring down my bits bit by bit, 5%, 5%, 5%, and then in the meantime, you're also going to monitor your sales. And what you're going to notice is that once that you are going to lower your bids more and more and more, are you still generating the same amount of sales or not? Because that is going to be the threshold for you to notice, I removed all that additional noise from my campaigns, so now I have a more optimal ACOS, but am I losing sales? So that would be our process. First off, look up how much you're paying right now, and can you bring down your ACOS step by step to the moment that you're not going to hurt your sales? Because what is usually happening, and this is not only for new sellers, but also intermediate sellers, I would say, is that they're just going to, okay, now I have to do this huge jump and like 20% off, a a bid modifier, and then you're showcasing your product in totally different placement. And then you're just gathering clicks, but no sales at all, So you're removing both your sales and both the ACOS. It just jumps up because it's just sales, just spend and no sales at all. So that would be my advice there. All right, guys, this is a wrap. It is 2:00. It was very, very nice having you here. Thanks so much for everyone submitting their questions. Absolutely love these. Do ensure that you're going to join next week as well. Be on hold next week. It's going to be just a bit different timing wise because afterwards I have a really, really important meeting and I am not going to make it from 1 p.m. So be on the lookout. I'm going to send out notifications about the events because next week is still going to be on Tuesday, but I believe it's going to be from 11:00 a.m. EDT time. Okay? Thanks so much for watching. Much love to you. Have a good day ahead and lots of success today. Make only good decisions because you can. Take care. Bye.